Welcome to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, hosted by Andrew Duncan, the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning. As Tampa Bay's top-selling real estate team with over $3 billion in sales and thousands of homes closed, sell your home with ease, guaranteed in 14 days or they'll buy it. Visit theduncanduo.com. Here's your host, Andrew Duncan.
And right out the gate today, going to talk about our appreciation party, which we've got set up for June 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. At Benchmark International Arena. Last week on the show, I kept calling it Amalie. I got to break the habit. It is Benchmark at the Bench, formerly Amalie Arena, 2 to 5 p.m., June 13th. RSVP, get your free tickets at DuncanDuoParty.com. Want to invite your whole family. If you're listening to the show, you're invited. We bring out all of our clients, friends, fans, listeners every year to the arena for a cool event. And we mixed it up. We changed it up a little bit this year. This year we are not going to be on the ice. The Lightning lost. The ice didn't get to stay out long enough. But we've got some street hockey set up. We've got locker room tours, VIP locker room tours that we're going to be doing, as well as Thunderbug and a lot of other cool prizes and giveaways, as well as the same stuff we have every year: Lightning face painting, signed items, T-shirts, giveaways, free food, fun, family-friendly event. Again, 2 to 5 p.m. on June 13th. RSVP at DuncanDuoParty.com. Again, that's DuncanDuoParty.com. You can also send us a message on any of our social channels at The Duncan Duo for an exclusive invite. I think the coolest thing is going to be the locker room tours and the behind-the-scenes tours that our clients get to go on this year. You know, concerts that happen there, events that happen there, some things behind the scenes, some stories. All of those things are things that we're providing for our clients this year. So, again, you can get your free tickets at DuncanDuoParty.com, and your whole family is invited. So, breaking news this week about property taxes in Florida. Governor DeSantis has rolled out his proposal that is going to be hitting the legislature. And it's an interesting one because there's a lot of people that that approve of this, and there's some that are a little bit concerned. But it is a save our homes from excessive property taxes. He outlined it in Tampa this week, and the plan is to eliminate taxes on homestead property. Property tax revenue collected by local governments nearly doubled in the past 7 years, and Florida homeowners need relief. There's no question that Florida homeowners need relief. I'm excited about this. I think that is the major driver right now for a little bit of uptick in our real estate market. My team, for example, is having an incredible May, best May in several years. And I believe that people that are thinking about moving here are starting to move in anticipation of getting the benefit of this before it passes. The second thing I would say is that it will improve values, because naturally, when you reduce the monthly costs of things, it causes people to push in more. It creates more buyers. It reduces costs. It improves affordability. So if property taxes reduce for the average homeowner, more people have the ability to buy. It also lowers payments to comparable numbers to what they were back during COVID when we had the big boom. So if we can't get lower rates or as lower rates as we want, but we get property tax relief, that could have a more substantial impact on your payment than interest rates. So it's the payment that people buy on. It really is. It's the payment. So a few things that I want to outline from this, and this is not done yet. This is a proposal, okay? He's finally finalized his proposal, and a bipartisan bill is being worked on. It is going to exempt homestead properties from taxation. It begins by exempting the first $250,000 of a homestead's value from taxation and requiring through law schedule for full elimination. The expectation is it would go from 250 and then after a few years to 500 and then continue going up until such point that every person that has a homestead, even if it's a $10 million property, will be not paying property taxes, with the exception of still paying the school portion, I believe, of the property taxes. So the schedule for how that will grow from 250,000 to full elimination isn't done yet. That's going to be something that's worked on. It ensures funding for core services. It requires local governments to use remaining property taxes solely for core public needs, infrastructure, natural resources. It protects small business. It limits future property tax assessments on business and creates a more stable tax environment. Ensures fairness for Florida residents, requiring any person who establishes Florida residency after January 1, 2027 to maintain Florida residency for up to 5 years before receiving this. So, interesting thing, it is May of 2026. What do I believe this does? I believe this helps the Florida real estate market have a really strong summer and end of the year, because people will want to establish Florida residency before that date so they don't have the 5-year waiting period before they start to get their exemptions. And eventually the idea is to have everyone exempt from property taxes. I like what they're doing with this. When these proposals first came out and they said, oh, we're going to abolish property taxes, I had some hesitation because I thought, okay, well, where is the funding for all of the services that we need going to come from if we just cut property taxes? Well, when they ladder it like they have it set up, and they do have a state trust fund to assist with core local services, they're more or less putting the onus back on governments to get more efficient, to look for ways to cut costs, to negotiate the bids that they're getting. And the state is there with the trust fund to provide grants to governments to assist with the continuation of those services, because our state fortunately operates in a they have a lot of money. I forget the word for it, but they have an abundance of extra money. They're not at a deficit in the state of Florida. And I think the key to moving this forward is that latter approach, to where over time it kind of cliffs off so that the cities and counties can still continue to provide services. So it's ensuring fairness for people. People that have expensive homes or non-expensive homes, they pay a tax on a property that realistically some of them already paid for. Why are they taxed on that property? It's really the most draconian tax that exists, and I'm excited that Governor DeSantis is doing this. I think it will be very positive for home values in Florida. I think it will improve affordability in the short term. In the long term, I think it's going to cause prices to rise pretty considerably. So if you are a home buyer and you're thinking about buying, you should not wait, okay? Even if you're someone that's already a Florida resident, the after January 1 doesn't necessarily apply to you. This is for people that aren't residents presently. But what happens when interest rates drop, prices rise? The reason that happens is because payments drop. It isn't really the interest rate that matters, it's the payment. So even if interest rates don't drop, but property taxes drop so substantially that payments reflect what they were when we had 4% interest rates, we're going to see prices rise because demand is going to spike. I believe that this being announced is going to move people here before January 1. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines and kind of gridlocked about interest rates, do the math. Think about whether or not you want to get the new property into this proposal to eliminate property taxes. And, ultimately, I think it's going to be really positive for our real estate market. We already have so many positive things that are aligning for Tampa Bay. Right now, what I'm seeing in the market, we're certainly seeing the market improve and turn a little bit. But I think we're seeing a lot of it on the top end. I was in Los Angeles this week. Drove around, and I think it's pretty clear to me why people are moving to Tampa compared to places like Los Angeles and New York. The homeless populations, the needles on the street, the tent city and Skid Row, the crime, how dirty it is. There's no question that people are leaving that, especially when they're taxed to death. They're paying, massive state income taxes, in some cases city taxes. People are running from that because they don't see the value there, especially high net worth people. So what we're seeing is a lot of activity in our high end. And people might say, well, hey, all the rich people moving here, that really doesn't help the average guy. But the reality is it does, because here's what happens. those wealthy people that move here and buy $3 and $5 million houses, they're going to move their businesses too. They're going to move their businesses, and then that's going to create transactions for 3 and 4 and 500,000, and it's going to improve values. It's going to improve our real estate market because we've been in a little bit of a lull. Our real estate market has been, we've kind of been around the same price for a long time. The sales haven't dramatically risen. I think this is the start of a turn of that. If the Iran war gets solved and inflation gets curbed a little bit, I think we see the Fed cut rates a little bit this year. We get property tax relief. I really think 2027 is going to be a boom year for Tampa real estate. We have so many things in our favor. We've got a clean city that's well run. We have property tax relief coming. We have population growth. We have winning sports teams. We've got, developments in downtowns that are progressing. We've got a potential move of the Tampa Bay Rays, to Tampa. And on top of all that, we've got great weather. And if we, forecasts are speculating that we might not have as bad of a hurricane season, if that holds up, 2027 will be a banner real estate year. And you know what? What I tell people, you don't want to buy when it's the banner year. You want to buy before it. You want to act before it. You want to take advantage of it. It's like knowing a stock is going to rise and being able to buy it. I believe the stock, assuming a clean hurricane season, the stock of Tampa real estate is going to be up substantially in 27. So if you're going to make a move, if you're going to move up, do it now. Because, I hear customers all the time say, well, I need to wait till my house gets to 400. It's at 350. And then I'll go out and buy my 600. Well, the 600 house isn't in a vacuum. It's going to go up too. And if we see appreciation start to uptick, those people that are moving up are losing money by waiting. They say, oh, well, once my 350 house gets to 400, then I'll go out and buy my 600. Well, your 600 isn't 600 anymore. Now it's 700. You lost 50 grand. The money that you're trying to get out of your existing house, if you're moving up to a more expensive house, you're losing if you wait, okay? Especially if we get interest rate cuts and this property tax relief and prices rise, you will have missed the mark to get into the home affordably that you want to get into. And this is especially important if someone who has an established residency before 2027 and they own homes in other areas and they're going to upgrade to a more expensive home. Those people are going to start moving. They're going to want to take advantage of this tax relief. Wealthy people, they look at their balance sheet. They know where their money goes, and they know what value they get, and they don't perceive that they get a great value on some of the property tax discussions in other states. If they perceive our state is getting a great value, now that they're going to get over a period of time, it's going to be reduced, they're going to move. They're going to look at opportunities to move. It's going to be financially smart. It's going to free up capital for them to invest more in their businesses, and it's just a natural progression that I think Tampa is going to continue doing great. So when we aren't on air again, follow us at The Duncan Duo. Hit up DuncanDuoParty.com for a free ticket to our client and agent appreciation party on June 13th. That is Saturday, June 13th. You're invited. DuncanDuoParty.com. Would love to see you there from 2 to 5. We'll be back after a quick break here on WFLA News.
back to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning, top team in Tampa Bay, over 3 billion sold and counting. Now your host, Andrew Duncan.
DuncanDuoParty.com. You're invited. Please come out on June 13th to our client and agent appreciation party. If you're a real estate agent, you're invited as well. If you're a client of our team, you're invited. Really cool. We're going to have VIP tours of the Lightning locker room and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and stories regarding concerts and different events that happen at Benchmark International. I got to stop saying Emily. It is Benchmark International Arena. Benchmark International Arena. Again, DuncanDuoParty.com. You're invited. Free giveaways, Lightning signed merchandise, free food, 2 to 5 p.m. on June 13th. I talked about this in the first segment about Governor DeSantis and the property tax bill. If you missed it, make sure to check out our podcast on SoundCloud. You can also follow us on any of the socials where we'll put this up at the Duncan Duo. But I talked about the luxury market. We really have two separate real estate markets going on right now. We've got, kind of the average price point and below, and then we've got the luxury market. And the luxury market, Tampa's high-end luxury market outperformed the entire country. Let me repeat this. Tampa's high-end segment outperformed the entire country. Luxury home median sale prices jumped 17.1% over the past 3 months. I've been saying it, and I'm saying it again. People from other parts of the country are moving here. People from Miami are moving here. We are seeing people look at our area as a value, and they want to not have state income tax. They want to have clean streets, and they want to have reduced property taxes. It's just a logical thing that high net worth people pay attention to this. So we're getting a movement of people that look at Miami and think it's way too expensive, people that look at us from other parts of the country and feel like we're a value because they don't have all these tax burdens and it's clean and we have a nice downtown and we have winning sports teams. So the typical luxury home in Tampa now sells for $1.67 million. More high-end inventory coming on the market. Owners to capitalize the demand. It stands out against the broader market's healthy rebalancing and cooling or flat trends in entry-level segments. A great angle on how the luxury tier is still hot while the overall Tampa market stabilizes. So what that means, if you are somebody that's thinking about selling a luxury home, you should get it on the market with an agent that understands that. We sold more high-end homes in May than we have in nearly any month in our entire company's history. We work with a lot of luxury clients. We had multiple celebrity sales in the past few months, and we would love to work with you. And the agents on my team that work with the clients that are high net worth, that are buying higher end real estate, are different than the agents that are working with someone to buy a starter home, for example. We do service everyone. We do help everyone regardless of price. We help first-time home buyers, and we help people buying $10 million properties and everything in between. But the agents at my company that work with the customers buying or selling the $10 million property are completely different than the ones that work with the $300,000. So I want to specify that because I think it's important. The luxury market requires a different type of advertising. It's a different segment. It's a different experience level from a negotiation perspective. But our luxury market is humming. If you're a real estate agent and you're not humming, we are looking to hire. We're looking for agents that do have experience working with high-end customers. If you're not having the production you want where you are and you want to work and be busy, hit us up at jointheduo.com. You can set up a Calendly appointment to meet with our team confidentially. You can set up a time to shadow our team meeting. And in addition to that, we're always looking for agents, regardless of price point. We're in growth mode. We're up dramatically over last year. We never cut advertising budgets. We continue to push ahead because I knew the market would turn and some of these things would work in our favor, and that is the case now. That's why in May we had a record-breaking month for our company. There's a lot of companies out there that do not have that right now. So if you aren't having the production and the success, again, jointheduo.com, apply for any one of our open positions, or message us on social media at the Duncan Duo. And the last thing I'll say about the luxury market too is a lot of it's happening off market. I talked last week about a lot of the things happening with Zillow and some of the real estate brokerages and this argument over whether homes should be listed on the MLS immediately or not. We work with a lot of customers where we're finding off-market opportunities, whether they're buyers or sellers. Sellers that want to sell but don't want to go on to the MLS, we're finding buyers for them. Buyers that want inventory that isn't out there, we're going out on the hunt. We're using our 250,000 person database. We're using AI, and we're reaching out and finding homes for customers. So if you're someone that's looking for something off market and your agent isn't providing that for you, again, would love the opportunity to work with you and show you what we can do differently and think outside the box. And again, if you're an agent and your company isn't talking about all the tools that they're using with AI, AI is regularly communicating via text and phone call. We have AI phone calling for customers in our database for check-ins, to get updates. And as our listeners, as you listen to this, you might think, oh, I don't want robots calling me. You won't even know. You will not. You absolutely will not know. You will have a conversation, a 12-minute conversation with our AI calling service, and you will not even know that it's AI. It is that good. So we are building some really cool things on our team and would love to help agents and luxury home buyers and sellers. And again, if you're an agent, join theduo.com. You can apply for open positions. You can shadow our real estate team meeting. If you know someone on our team, reach out, ask them how busy it is. Ask them how well they're doing right now. I always say this because I think in real estate, you have a lot of agents that go somewhere because of the split that they get on the deals that they generate. And then they don't know how to generate the leads. They don't know how to market, and they do 1 or 2 deals a year. And they think, oh, I'm so great. I got 100% on 1 or 2 deals. Meanwhile, their buddy is working on our team doing 30 and 40 deals a year at a lower split, but bringing a whole lot more money home to their family. If you want more money to bring home to your family and your real estate agent, hit us up again at jointheduo.com. We'll be back after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.
And we're back with the Duncan Duo Radio Show, Tampa Bay's #1 real estate team. Over $3 billion in sales, thousands of happy clients, and official partners of the Lightning. Now your host, Andrew Duncan.
So, talked in the first segment about the property tax discussion and some of the things Governor DeSantis has proposed and the likelihood that ends up passing. And then in the second half of the segment, I talked a lot about our luxury market, but also about us hiring and looking for agents to join the team. And don't forget, DuncanDuoParty.com. If you're a real estate agent, if you're a home buyer, home seller, or if you're just a fan and a listener of the show and you want a free, cool, fun, family-friendly day at Benchmark International, Just go to DuncanDuoParty.com. Completely free event, free food. We'll have some cool lightning giveaways. The same things we've had in the past, with the difference being that this year we do not have the ice. But we're going to do some street hockey stuff in the stadium. We're going to have some cool blow-ups for the kids, and we're going to do VIP locker room tours. So if that is something that is of interest to you, please go to DuncanDuoParty.com. It's an event that we've done for more than 10 years, and we invite the community to come out and enjoy a day on us and have some fun, to get out of the heat because it's hot. The heat is here, and enjoy a day on us. So, well, look, we're approaching hurricane season now, right? It's on the horizon. I've talked in the show before about how I think a clean hurricane season this year sets up a massive boom in 2027. I think it's already starting because of the proposal from Governor DeSantis for property taxes that requires people to be residents before January 1 of 2027. I think we're going to see some movement this summer, this fall, and this winter. I think we're going to see a mass of movement of people that want to get in before that date and establish residency so they will get the property tax exemptions. We are going to pull people from other states. And look, that's Governor DeSantis' job. His job is to drive economics to our state and in some ways compete against other states for people's homes, for their businesses, and for their families. So I think it's a great thing. I'm excited about it. I think that the way they're rolling it out makes a lot of sense, and I'm really optimistic about where that takes our real estate market. But since we're in hurricane season, I want to give you some tips of things to do as we start to head into hurricane season. First and foremost, check your insurance policies. If you do not have flood insurance, get it, even if it's not required, okay? There are a lot of people that have been flooded and had hurricane damage impacts in areas that are not considered flood zones, okay? The determination that FEMA goes through to determine who should have flood insurance based on flood zones or evacuation zones and how they determine it just based on elevation is laughable. It is a joke. Do not trust the government to make these decisions for you and telling you whether you're required or not required to have flood insurance. You live on a peninsula. Florida's a peninsula. It's, 270 degrees surrounded by water, okay? Get flood insurance. If you don't have it, get it. Unless you can afford not to. Unless your home isn't worth it and your land's worth more money. In rare circumstances, that makes sense. But the majority of people should have flood insurance. Gives you peace of mind. If it's not required, if you're not in a flood zone, if you're above a certain elevation, it may not be that expensive, but you should look into it. The second thing is look into your insurance policy. Make sure it's paid. Make sure you're happy with the deductibles. So many people in the hurricanes from a few years ago got hit with, well, yeah, you do have insurance, but you got to come out of pocket with X, Y, or Z, and they weren't prepared for it or didn't have it. Know what's in your policy. You know how many consumers don't know what's in their insurance policy? It's crazy. They don't know their deductible. They don't know what their limits are. They don't know what their coverages are. Use this time before hurricane season shows up and you're in the midst of being scared to spend a little bit of time doing some due diligence on who your insurance company's with. Hopefully you didn't just go with the cheapest. Hopefully you looked at their rating to make sure they can pay claims. Okay. Hopefully you can afford the deductible. Hopefully you have coverage that will cover you in the event of something happening. And if you don't have flood coverage, get it. The second thing I tell everyone is, if you're going to need hurricane supplies, okay, if you're somebody that wants a bunch of water and toilet paper and you have some extra money, go get it now. Okay. Don't wait until the storm is 48 hours out and then expect Walmart's going to have stuff in stock. Stock up now. Be prepared. Get your batteries. Get your flashlights. Get your generator done. Get your generator checked out. Do all of these things ahead of time because once it gets closer to hurricane season, it becomes a nightmare to try and get some of this stuff accomplished. Second thing I will tell you is there are a lot of people that lose insurance claims or don't get paid out properly because they're not able to document the things they lost in their home when their home was destroyed. Take your phone out and record a complete walkthrough of your house and your belongings, especially your valuable ones, okay? If you have memorabilia, if you have autograph things, if you have sports stuff, if you have extra items, make sure you have coverage for them, okay? And then record everything, okay? The reality is so many people are ill prepared and they run around doing this stuff at the last minute. It stresses them out even more, when if they just did it ahead of time, they could be just chill, Netflix and chill during hurricane season instead of freaking out and running around like a crazy person. So work ahead of time, work on your insurance, document your belongings, check out your policy, get flood insurance if you don't have it. I can't recommend it enough. There are so many people that that don't have it, and they end up regretting it. They end up having, massive damage to their home. They end up, losing their home, just again, if you can afford it, it might be inexpensive if you are not in a flood zone or have a higher elevation. And if you're required to have it, make sure you know where it's at, who it's with, have a copy of your policy, know who the company is, document, again, everything in your home, and have a plan. If you have a family, if you have animals, have a plan for where you're going to go and when you're going to do that and what it's going to take, and talk about it amongst your family. There are a lot of people that get into these huge debates and arguments with their spouses and their kids because they're trying to decide at the last minute about whether they should leave or not leave. Decide that ahead of time. Eliminate that frustration. I know I've been there. I've gone through it, and I've had the significant other that disagrees and all of these things. Have that conversation ahead of time, so when it comes time to decide what you're going to do, you have the opportunity to just, as a family, get in line and go do what you've already agreed upon and talked about. If you're talking about it in the heat of the moment, it's not going to work as well, because what the news media will do during that period is it will scare people. They're going to see this, circular sphere with the wind and the rain on the TV, and they're going to think the world's going to end. And the way everyone talks about it, they think the apocalypse is coming, and it's going to scare them, and they're going to freak out, and they're going to act on emotion. And then when you're trying to talk to them with logic, it's not going to work. Get your hurricane plan prepared ahead of time. Determine what it will take for you to evacuate or not evacuate, and be on the same page. So when those data points hit, it's very easy, and you're able to execute. Again, have all your supplies. Order your extra batteries, your extra toilet paper, your extra water, your extra food, your generator fuel, your extra gas. Do all that stuff way ahead of time. Nothing's worse than seeing like the people freaking out the days before the hurricane, running to Home Depot to buy plywood, okay, to board up the windows. Do it now, okay? You're going to need it. We're going to have scares. Hopefully we don't have any major storms this year, but you're going to have scares. You're going to have some stuff. Cancel a few trips to Starbucks or a couple of Chick-fil-A lunches, and maybe cut a little, family night out here and there, and go buy that stuff now. Okay, have it prepared. It'll make hurricane season so much smoother and less stressful for you, because you're going to need it. That's the reality of living in Florida. So again, you're listening to the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. When we aren't on air, make sure to follow us on all of our socials at the Duncan Duo, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. Pretty much every social out there at the Duncan Duo. And don't forget our agent and client appreciation party, DuncanDuoParty.com. It is in 2 weeks, June 13th. Would love to see you. If you're in our database, you are going to get the emails about this. We would love for you to attend. It is a free event, free food, lightning merchandise giveaways. We'll have some signed cool stuff to give away, as well as appearances from Thunderbug and a VIP tour of backstage for the Lightning locker room, as well as backstage in the concert area. You'll get to hear some cool stories from the Lightning, the Benchmark family, about things that have happened behind the scenes at different concerts and events. So hope to see you there. Again, it is DuncanDuoParty.com. Want to give some tips to self-employed home buyers. If you're a self-employed home buyer today, there are a lot of mistakes people make when they're looking to qualify for a loan, and they have written off too much stuff in their taxes. And we saw it this week. We saw a great customer have a hard time getting a home loan approved, that had money, that has great income, but writes off very aggressively in their business. Before you go down the path of buying a home in 2027, before you do your taxes next year. As you work through this year, if you're buying in 27, look at the different options to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Secondarily, a lot of lenders are starting to offer programs that allow bank statement loans, meaning that you can get a loan without them looking at your tax returns. So typically they're going to be a little bit more expensive on rate and cost, but they are available. So it is a program that's out there. Our lender has it, Citywide Home Loan, citywidetampa.com. Where you can do a bank statement loan if you're a self-employed business owner. But make sure to prepare, make sure to document. If you're writing off a lot of things, you may need to show some assets. So those are things that creatively sometimes can be problematic. We've just seen some mistakes lately on that. Another thing that I want to make sure and remind people of, the VA loan, it is the best loan out there. If you are a military family, please use your VA loan. Okay, it is an incredible product. It saves you money. It saves you cost. It saves you hassle. And so many people don't know they qualify for it. So if you served in the military, if you were a defense contractor, some of those even qualify. But you get the ability to buy a home with no money down and a funding fee covered. Closing costs can get covered. Again, the VA loan, one of the best loan products out there. I see sometimes veterans saying, well, I'm going to save it. I'm going to use it later. Like, no, use it. Like, please use it. Please use your VA loan. I love getting offers on properties from VA loans. A lot of real estate agents frown upon VA loans because of some of the condition requirements. However, one of the caveats to the VA loan that makes it attractive for an experienced real estate agent that knows what they're doing, one, you're helping someone that fought for your freedom. You don't have your job potentially if that person didn't do what they did in the military, okay? So there's a patriotic aspect of working with someone with a VA loan. The second part is if there's an appraisal challenge, it's the only loan product that gives you a heads up. And that's a very common issue in today's real estate market. An appraiser maybe sees comps differently or doesn't pull the right comp or misses one. And if they're short on the appraisal, they let the real estate agents know so the real estate agents can communicate with them to try and help provide the information to them to get the appraisal accurate. It's a collaborative process when they're coming in short. That's the only loan product that does that. Every other loan product just spits out the appraisal, and if it's bad, now you're dealing with a cancellation potentially or problems or renegotiations. The VA loan product is the loan product that provides that extra step in the process to ensure an accurate appraisal and to allow the real estate agents to have some communication if it's coming in short. So again, that's why I love VA loans and love working with them. So anyway, we're going to be back. We're going to wrap up our last segment after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show.
Back to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, hosted by Andrew Duncan, official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning and the team that guarantees your home sells with ease. Visit theduncanduo.com right now. Here's Andrew Duncan.
Wrapping up our last segment here, talking about real estate scams. Look, it's an unfortunate world that we live in, where there are people out there that are trying to scam you out of your hard-earned money. But there's some common real estate scams that I want to make you aware of to help prevent you from being a victim of one of said scams. The very first one is regarding wire transfers. Okay, so if you are buying or selling real estate, typically it's going to be more buying because the seller isn't putting up money unless they're in a negative position, which is possible today. But if you're buying real estate and you get wire instructions from a title company or from a real estate agent, first and foremost, you shouldn't be getting wire instructions from your real estate agent. Okay, so that's red flag number one. It should come directly from the title company, and you should verify the domain, the email address has the domain of the title company. Make sure that's their website. The second thing you should do is verbally call and confirm the wire instructions. I've seen far too many times what happens is a real estate agent gets their email hacked. They send wire instructions. The consumer follows them and wires money. and that was some bank account in Nigeria. So with wire instructions, be overly cautious. Call and confirm them. Make sure you know you have the right ones. Double check, verify before you wire money for a real estate transaction. Second common real estate scam right now is a rental scam where property goes up for rent that isn't actually for rent. You see it on Craigslist or even one of the main real estate websites. It's a home that's for sale. Somebody copies all the photos and the description and then puts it up for rent. And what they're hoping to do is they're hoping you don't do your due diligence and you go out and meet them and you give them a deposit and they don't really own the home. They're not really the property manager. They just scammed you out of a deposit and then left town. So a few things. One, I wouldn't rely too much on Craigslist for anything, but if you're looking at rentals on Craigslist, be suspicious. Second, the second red flag is if the price is too good to be true. Okay. These are not people that are running some incredibly intelligent scam. They're running it for a very, very small, short period of time to avoid getting caught. So they have to make the rent look very advantageous so that they can get the money and get out quickly. So if you see a $5,000 a month property that's being asked for $2,000 a month, it should be throwing red flags for you. Look, there's no such thing as a free lunch. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. If the rent is too low, it's probably a scam. Okay. There are some things you can do to verify whether or not that person has authority. One, you can verify their real estate license. You can ask for a copy of it. You can ask for a copy of their ID. I've had plenty of people ask for that in my career. I got no problem providing it. The second thing you can do is verify if they're not a real estate agent that they have the authority to act on behalf of the owner. Do they have authority for an LLC? Are they a listed owner of the property? Do they have articles of incorporation for an LLC? Look it up on tax rolls. You can look it up on any of our property appraiser websites who the owner of a property is. The second thing is if the property is listed for sale and for rent, Google the address. If you see it's listed for sale and for rent, contact the agent that's listed for sale with. It's very likely, not very likely. It's they're going to know. The agent that has it for sale is going to know if it's also up for rent. Reach out to them and say, hey, is this property also for rent? I found it on this website. Okay. It's likely that if it is available for rent, it would probably be with the same company. If not, it does happen where it can be split between two if one company doesn't do rentals, which is similar with us. We don't. But they're going to know if it's up for rent or not, be able to tell you. They're going to be able to say, no, this isn't for rent. They're going to look at the ad and say, no, that's a scam. So another common real estate scam that we're seeing, and again, this is unfortunate, but we're seeing people approach homeowners in negative positions or elderly and take advantage of them and retitle properties into other people's names. So if anyone ever solicits you door to door without prior communication, wanting to buy your house or option your house or offer you some deal that sounds too good to be true, it probably is, because we've seen people do quick claim deeds to take over control of a property and steal someone's equity. I mean, literally steal their equity. Get the person to sign a quick claim deed, promise them something, promise them money. Now they have title of your house. They sell it to someone else. You're getting evicted. You lost your equity. If you are someone that, again, gets someone that approaches you off the street, do your due diligence and look, call us. We'll help you. We'll look at it and tell you, hey, look, this looks legitimate or this looks illegitimate or this looks like a scam. Okay. Call a really good real estate agent. You can call us anytime. We'd be more than happy to help if you feel like you're getting taken advantage of. The last one I would say is, and it's not necessarily a scam, but it's, wholesalers. If you don't know what a wholesaler is someone who goes out to buy a property. Their intention is not to buy it, though. Their intention is to get you to sign a contract that allows them to sell the paper, to sell the contract to somebody else for a fee. So there are legitimate ones, but it is an industry that has a lot of gray area scammy type stuff. They'll say, hey, I want to buy your house for $300. I need 90 days to close. You say, okay. They go out and market your home for $350 to people, and then they take a fee, and now you've got a new buyer, and you lost money. For most intents and purposes, a real estate agent is going to put more money in your pocket. There are legitimate wholesalers. There are legitimate reasons why someone would want to sell in that environment. But I see a lot of people get taken advantage of in contracts they can't get out of with small escrow deposits and with buyers who aren't going to actually execute. So if you're uncertain about an offer that you have, again, feel free to reach out to us, 813-359-8990. You can call or text that number again, 813-359-8990. And thanks you so much for tuning in, and have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay.